Hey everyone, welcome into Dom Time. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hot debate on the issue of women in combat. And joining us is someone who is a staple of talk radio for 20 years or so. Elaine Donnelly is the president of the Center for Military Readiness. She's talked about issues like this, gays in the military, women in the military over the years. Elaine, welcome. Thanks for joining me on TV tonight for a change.
Yes, hi, nice to talk with you.
Well, Elaine, we just heard from a woman who served in the 101st Airborne, and one of the main arguments I've heard crafted out here is this. Women are already doing this in Iraq and Afghanistan. They're already essentially in combat because of the nature of this war. Isn't that pretty much true?
No, it isn't, because we're talking now about a different set of missions, the direct ground combat battalions, the ones that are usually called the tip of the spear, the ones that attack the enemy. Now, women have been serving in harm's way, no question about that, and they've been serving with courage, and we're proud of them. But being in harm's way or being in danger is not the same as being in the unit that attacks the enemy. That's why this debate is so very important. It's a very big difference.
All right, you've put forth the difference. Are you saying there are no women in America, or there are not significant numbers, or this isn't worth all the time and muss and fuss to try to find out if women can do this? Some women can do this.
Well, we know because of 30 years of studies and reports that have been done, women are not the physical equals of men, and physical strength matters in these tip-of-the-spear units. It didn't matter so much in some of the other units, but it really matters. This is a life and death issue now. The problem is that although most people expect, and many of the advocates are claiming, and they believe that the standards will not change, unfortunately, that will not be the case, because this administration has another agenda, the diversity agenda, to drive standards or to achieve a critical
Elaine, I agree with you about that, but what about the military?
Units.
Are you, Elaine Donnelly, are you saying, though, that military men, Dempsey and some of the others that viewers may see, they will go along with this and they'll compromise the lives of Americans?
I invite you to read or listen to. We have a video posted on our website now of General Dempsey when he spoke at the news conference last week.
Yes.
He was asked, well, what about if they can't make this standard? And General Dempsey said, well, then the burden will be on the service to come back and explain, why is the standard so high? Does it really have to be that high? And since the stated goal is to, quote, set women up for success, the answer will be no. And keep in mind these pressures for diversity metrics, that's another way of saying quotas. The administration has bought into this totally. A diversity commission is advocating diversity metrics, and they're saying that anyone who doesn't make the diversity metrics agenda work, they will be denied promotion because promotions will be contingent on meeting this agenda. So what is being said now, a lot of people really believe this sincerely, but we just posted a new article on our website explaining that when you put women into these combat units, and you call for a critical mass of women, even if you go for half of what is usually a critical mass, 10 or 15%, you're going to have to drive the standards down. If you don't, you're going to have injuries go through the roof because women cannot do the same thing as men. I mean, we saw with the Marines, they did a test at the infantry officer course at Quantico, and the women were given every chance, and we appreciate the fact that they tried.
All right, Elaine, parting area for you here, though. We just heard from a soldier who agreed with General Dempsey, who said, though, if you don't give women this chance, if we don't see some women make it into this, women are always going to be seen as second-class soldiers, and that's why we see this rate, one of the reasons, of sexual assault.
That is the most ridiculous argument of all. Women are promoted at rates equal to or faster than men. That's a fact, and it's been that way for decades. As for sexual assault, this move will likely increase rates of sexual assault. They've been skyrocketing in the other communities, the non-combat communities, for several years. Since 2006, according to an Army report, rates of sexual assault, violent crime have doubled. Now, if you take all of these issues and you put them into the infantry battalions, and if people know that that people are going to be assigned whether they can meet the previous standard or not, standards are going to be equal, but they will not be the same. And when survival is on the line, this will increase levels of resentment, and it's not fair to the women because the women will feel the heat for this.
Thank
There
you,
is
Elaine.
no
Thanks
evidence at
very
all
much. We're
to
flat out of
back up
time
that
tonight. Elaine
ridiculous
Donnelly.
argument. It's
Thank
just
you.
the opposite, actually.
Thanks, Elaine Donnelly. Thanks as always. Thanks for joining us tonight. Coming up, my final word of the night. Sally Starr passing yesterday. Want to do her justice. That's coming up on Dom Time. Sally Starr passed yesterday, just past the age of 90. And Sally Starr was one of these icons growing up here in the Delaware Valley for baby boomers, kids of all ages. Our gal Sal. Today on my radio show, we were flooded with people that called in to remember Sally Starr, her life and times. Imagine at one point when she was on 4 to 6 p.m., 75% of TV sets were tuned in to watch. So in honor of her, I put together today my Mount Rushmore of these stars of our youth. Sally Starr right there, Gene London, who was on with me today, kind of the pre-Mr. Rogers. Captain Noah was one of a kind, and Chief Halftown. I don't think you can find a foursome like that. It was a sweeter, more innocent age, maybe a better age. Good night to Sally Starr and to everyone else. We miss her already. Thanks for watching tonight. Dom Time.